We're live.
You're
I
right.
Greetings to the rest of the world from Canada here. My name is Femi, and today I'll be hosting you. And yeah, I worked in the oil and gas industry for quite some years as a directional driller until I found this digital business, and I've been running this for quite some time now. So today I have with me Aranes, and Aranes is from California. Aranes, can you please introduce yourself before we go ahead?
Hello, everyone. Magandang hapon, magandang umaga. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Arena coming live from San Francisco, California. I'm so grateful to be here, guys. And I'm also grateful for you guys watching our live today. And yeah, we'll be talking about a great topic today. And before I start, I'm running this digital business. I'm turning 5 years next week, Femi, on the 12th. Oh my gosh.
Sorry?
I'm turning 5 years running this business on the
Okay.
12th. So that is something that I am so proud of because I am still kicking, I and that is and our topic today is all about that comfort zone, right? So yeah. So grateful to be here. Thank you, Femi.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll be 5 years to this month.
Oh, this
Yeah,
one.
yeah. This month I'll be 5 years to that I've been doing this thing. It's quite
Really?
interesting. It was just like just a few days ago that we started this thing.
Wow.
But there's been a lot of growth in this, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and there's no how we can talk about this business without talking about comfort zones and stepping out of the comfort zone. Like you remember I told you sometime like when I just started this business that I didn't have a Facebook account.
Mm-hmm.
I was not in Facebook. I didn't even know how to navigate. I didn't know what was happening on Facebook. I didn't have an account. So like I was very used to my niche, my safe, my safe area. I was comfortable there and I didn't want to step out of it. Uh, and
You don't
most
want to
times for
stretch.
yeah. So what did you say?
You don't want to stretch.
Yeah, I
Mm.
didn't want to stretch. I didn't want to come out of my zone, and of course that's the comfort zone, right? But the thing is that most times when people are in their comfort zones, they know that they are there, but most of the time, right, they don't define it as a comfort zone. They just know that, okay, I'm in this place where I'm comfortable. I'm in this place where there's no fear. I'm in this place where I feel safe and I think I'm in control, you know and so most of the time they're not willing to step out of it
Mm.
because of several reasons. What was it like for you being in your comfort zone, and what made you step out of it?
Well, yeah, it's a cozy place, That's the place. It's a comfort zone. It's a cozy place for me back then, and
Yeah.
that's where the familiar, the limiting beliefs, right? You don't want to grow because you're so scared about the unknown, stuff like that. And it's also a safe place as well. But the
Mm,
thing is, that's where I realized that that's where your dreams go to die. That's where, because if you're not doing anything to stretch yourself, facing the unknown, we're just gonna stay where you are. 5 years, it's gonna be the same here. Just
mm,
like who you are yesterday is still the same today, and that is the reason why I made a decision to step out from my comfort zone, and that is non-negotiable. That is
yeah.
non-negotiable for me. Yeah.
Like for so many people, like they always have good reasons for remaining there, you know and the thing is that when you have something that seems to be working for you, why do you want to change it?
Right.
What you understand? So you just want to remain there. This is working for me. So anything that will alter that will be like some kind of distraction. That's the way some people see it. So people don't want to do things that are outside of their norm, outside of what they consider norm or outside of what they consider they are used to. And like I said
Mm-hmm.
earlier on, they don't want to do anything that's it's outside of what they think that they're in control of. They just like that safe zone, you know. But there are usually challenges when one remains in the safe zone. Because the thing is that most of the time, right, you're limited to only that. There's no growth. There's
Mm-hmm.
no growth. And I think that's one of the reasons why it becomes very essential for one to want to leave the comfort zone. So people are usually aware that they're there, because they just keep doing the same thing over and over. But what would you say makes people want to stay back in that comfort zone? Because some people just like it there. I mean, why do you think somebody wants to remain in the comfort zone?
Because of the fear of failure. They're thinking already of something that it didn't even happen.
Mm,
Those are the one. What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't, I don't have any experience. There's all those excuses. That's why they want to stay there. They really don't want to like really put their energy towards that, because if they are, I have a corporate jobs and I'm gonna stay
mm,
there right until I die, right? So
yeah.
that kind of mentality is not really gonna work. Like, would you even, my gosh, like it's so hard for me to even take a vacation because my boss is in control. And
Yeah.
that's the reason why, like, stepping out of my comfort zone 5 years ago to start this digital business, it was so uncomfortable. But you know what? I always see what would it be like on living my future self, right? And then mostly people also is thinking about fear of judgment, like for us, you and me, right? We always go here live and we're thinking what people think about us. But again, this is something that I've learned from my mentors, that what people think about me is none of my
But
business.
it was not always like that from the beginning.
Yes, from the
Because for
beginning,
me,
yes.
for
Yeah,
me, and that's why
yeah,
sometimes, right, it's good to have accountability partners, right? Because
correct.
for me, I didn't, even though I started the business and I had my reason for the business, but I was slow in my starting. And the reason was because I was still, it was kind of like I still remained in that comfort zone for some time.
You're reprogramming your mind.
Yes, it was taking me a while to program my mind. There were some
Yeah.
things that I wasn't used to. I couldn't just imagine myself coming online and talking online or doing video and talking to the rest of the world. I could do that in church. I could do that within my place of work, but just to come up and start talking to everybody, it wasn't something I was used to, and I was just, and I was worried. You know, I mean, like, and these are the kind of things that people get worried about. What will people think about you? Some may be thinking, okay, maybe he lost his job, or maybe he's broke, or something, or maybe, I mean, is he not scamming us, or is it now?
Mm,
What is it doing now? So people always find excuses why they don't want to, why they don't want to cross that fair zone, you know. And so, like, that was, like, I was studying some time ago, and then I came across this material talked about, how people can you know, how to help people come out of their comfort zone. And one of the first things that they say is the fact that you first of all have to, define for yourself. Like, go through some kind of self-awareness.
mm-hmm,
What is it that you're avoiding? What is it that's going to make you uncomfortable?
mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the kind of things that people think that could make them uncomfortable, but those are the kind of things that some people will jump at, and they'll make a success of it. And so, but like, over time, I think what really helped me was was the fact that I'd start thinking about, what's the worst that can happen.
Yeah, it
you know
is.
because, like, I mean, like, that's what a lot of people always, like a lot of people are always worried, what if something does not work? But now the question is, what's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work or if it fails, so what's that? I mean, what's going to happen? And that's where I
Yeah.
think conditioning of your mind really matters, right? You probably may need to help us with that, because last week we are talking about mindset, and you did some job towards that, so like stepping out of your comfort zone. How, I mean, like, I believe that you probably have to, to condition your mind first of all before you can do it, right? So what's the process? I mean, what are you going to do, to be able to achieve this?
Well, the thing is, like, it's just making a decision. I'm not always thinking about what I don't want. I always think about what I want. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah, because that's once you make a decision, like, you know what, I don't want to be staying here for the rest of my life working my 9 to 5 job until I turn 65. So I really need to get out from my comfort zone and do something different, even though it didn't really work out for me. But those are feedbacks that I am getting. At least I am learning from that mistake, probably, because that's the game of life that we are
Mm,
playing. Like, if you don't want to try a piece of cake, something like that, you don't even know if that's really good.
mm,
That's why you have to really get out and test the water for a little bit, and if you think that's really the one that is calling you out, then just go. I know we have, something that really is stopping is the inner self-talk. Like those
mm,
whispers, those old belief is the main part. But once you recognize that, once you strengthen your awareness regarding about that, you gotta go all in, because it's all about something what you truly truly want.
yeah.
Just like a real life example, Femi. When I moved from the Philippines to the United States, right, I had no idea what the future held. What will be my future? I was scared, I was unsure, and I have to start all over again. But
Mm,
that decision changed everything. Later, I step out again, this time in the world of digital business, this online business. I don't know how. I just knew why. I wanted more time with my families. I wanted to help others and make a change in their life. Now, after 5 years, I'm turning 5 years, I'm running successful digital business and being mentored with one of the great mentors in the personal development worlds, and help
yeah.
other manifest their dreams too. That's why if I did not step out from my cocoon, from sitting down on my couch or questioning myself if I can do it, I cannot do this, I don't think so, I don't have experience, it's just an excuses for me not to do something. But I know what is better and bigger, uh, you know, that I want, because I
Mm.
want to live an extraordinary life. I don't want to be stuck into the 9 to 5 job until I turn 65. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, remaining in comfort zone really affects people, because you don't have the opportunity to try something new.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, you're always thinking of
What if it could go wrong? That's the
exactly,
thing.
I mean, like, there's always this negative thinking, right? And that's what you call the limiting beliefs, right? And it's quite a very dangerous place to be. It's quite a very dangerous place to be. Even though everybody likes to be comfortable, and people like to be confident, and to feel safe, wherever they are. But apparently, somebody says that to conquer fear is to look at fear straight in the look at it straight in the face, and you just discover that the fear is really nothing. It's just going to dissolve, But if you have not come to that point where you are bold to look at fear right in the face, fear will always scare you. But I've discovered that there's hardly any success in life without fear. Because to start right, what makes the success is not remaining in the place where you are. What makes that success is the fact that you are able to grow from where you are Sorry, from where you were to where you are now, and looking forward to where you're going to be, maybe in the next few years. And sometimes when you look at that, the first thing that comes to mind is, can I do it? Can I do it? Is it something I can do? Even if it's something that is routine, like there's some places of employment where you have a certain set of goals to do, and once you meet those goals, you go to the next level. Whereas there's some other places where even when you meet those goals, you still have to deliver some papers. You still have to have some presentations and all that, and then people and then managers will now have to, review your content to know whether or not. So like there are different levels and different phases, through which different establishments, will carry out their ways, of promoting people. But the bottom line is that for any growth, there's always this fear. Will I be able to make it? But then it's got to get to a point where one must be able to turn that fear into advantage. But I think one
Mm-hmm.
of the major reasons why people don't um, are not able to do that, or they prefer to remain in the comfort zone, is because they have been so used to, like maybe they've not really sat down to make a goal for themselves, to determine, okay, in the next 5, 10 years, I will, like, where do I want to be? Because like, for me, I think that's the starting point, right? When you're able to make that goal, when you're able to make a goal, to say, okay, this is where I want to be at such a point in time, right? Like you said something at the beginning, right? Like you don't want to see, like you don't want to look at how did you say it? Not at your failures. You say you want to look at where you want to be, not where you don't want to be. So if you keep your focus on where you want to be at all times, right? There's a tendency that you will need to step out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
That's where it starts from. And then if you are so focused that you made up your mind that you must come out of this place and go to the next point, maybe to the next step in your career, or to maybe, like, for instance, some people start businesses, right, while they are doing their 9 to 5. Not necessarily online business. Some people do some other businesses, but it's just because from the beginning they made up their minds that I have to do this. So that keeps guiding them and it keeps driving them. It drives their decisions. It drives everything that they do every day. So uh, even when they feel that what they want to be stepping into may be a bit insecure, because of the goal that they have, they are able to continue. I mean, I think that's where mindset steps in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being sure of what you want, and making up your mind, and trying to train your subconscious that this is where something must go. Recognizing the fact that there could be some pain along the way in order
Mm-hmm.
to achieve that. You know,
Yeah.
but like, what's okay? So we talked about that, but how has it been like for you in the business? What have you been able to achieve? With your stepping out of your comfort zone. With regards to your dream.
Oh my goodness, there's so many things that happen, and I don't even recognize myself in a very short period of time, you know. And I think you know that, Femi. I always stretching about myself, you know. It's just like for me, I'm so scared of talking to a public. That is one of my weakness because because of fear, you know. But since I was invited to be one of the speaker here in our business community, right? And like I
Yeah.
was, it's just like the terror barrier, you know. I have, there's a wall that is in front of me, and I'm so scared to go in because I am scared about these people are looking at me in the middle, while doing my presentation. But
Mm,
what I've learned from my mentors, like you know what, Arnett, this is a part of your personal and development. That's why I always talk to myself. I've always talked about my invisible alliance, which is God, and all those mentors who are not here, and then use them as my mastermind, right? And I I was like, should I go? Or should I can commit into this, because again, it's just like that comfort zone is just like really pulling me out
mm.
and stay where I am. And again, I made an irrevocable decision, like I have to face my fears, and this is something that I want, that helped me on my personal growth and development, because I have big goals. I have a big goal for me to be a spiritual personal development coach, right? And that's something that I'm finishing. And if I will tear up this wall and go all in and remove the terror barrier that is holding me back, then I had to do it. And then I made a decision to do that. And then now what? you know, now what I'm gonna do right now. So I have to like really use again, ask guidance from the Lord, ask guidance from the universe, whatever you believe in, right? Like what will be my topic, so I can inspire people, inspire our business partners. And that topic is all about coming out from your comfort zone,
Yeah.
how I manifested my desire, my goals from being unconscious to conscious competence. So that is my topic when I go there. So see, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the judgment, I just kind of like put that aside, because that's not me.
It
That's
doesn't
not
matter.
me.
Like,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't matter. See, like, that's the truth, right? Until you start, most times people are always conscious of what people will say. But
Mm-hmm.
once you start and you start to do well, or you recognize that in order for you to do well, you don't really have to care about what people feel or say.
Yeah.
Because those people are not going to pay your bills. You understand, right? Those people are not going to, I mean, like no matter how they feel towards you, they can't take your responsibility, right? So yes, that I mean, like the terror wall has to be broken. Like I've seen some people within our community that when when they saw like that's a lady, that's my business partner, right? When she said when she saw my advert and she watched it and immediately she paid the $149 we always talk about. And then from there, she just knew that she wanted to start a business. She didn't have all the money,
Yeah.
you know, but she uh, she had some money aside, which she kept, and then she worked towards getting some more funds, right, to be able to start a business. But from the beginning, she knew she had to do this business, and she knew she just had to go for it. But I've come
Mm-hmm.
across some other people too that really want to do it, but then there's that worry. What if it does not work?
Yeah.
What if it does not work? Like but we have examples of a lot of people that have thought this way, that their worry was what if it does not work. And I said maybe a few weeks ago, I talked about some people that were just looking for that additional maybe 500, maybe 1K, just to support their and then just to add to their income, maybe to be able to put money aside for kids' college, or maybe just to put money aside for vacation, or maybe to buy a car, or to put money aside for a house or something. And then they step in, and then it turned out that what they are seeing is mind blowing, is beyond what they were looking for. And
Mm-hmm.
they were looking for 500 or 1 grand, and then they were cashing in on like 16 grand a month or something. And somebody's like, wow. I mean, if I knew it was like this a long time ago, I probably should have started. But then, some of them were skeptical at the beginning. And of course, rightly so, it's important for somebody to be skeptical, because it just shows that you have your head on your shoulder, because you can't just take anything that comes your way. But then I'm saying this to say, if you have, I mean, like, I'm sure that there'll be some people that'll be watching us now, some people that'll watch later. Some of them may be people that may have signed up on your website or my website, and they're just wondering, how does this thing really work? Or what if this thing fails? You know, what if it fails? What are you going to say to people like the people that are thinking, what if it fails? People that are not willing to take the risk. What are you going to say to people like that now at a time like this?
Well, the thing is, like, risk is good, guys. For me, like, use your comfort zone to reflect, but don't let it rob you. It's how you're becoming, because all growth always begins where comfort ends. That's why it's okay to risk. Like, I don't have the money in the first place, but again, it's just, what do you really want? I want to live an extraordinary life. I want to build that financial and time freedom for my family. That's it. Because the money will come, like, you can just, money is everywhere. There you go. So that's the reason why it's always, always nice. Embrace the comfort zone, but don't stay there, right? So that's why you have to really risk. If you want to become successful, you gotta go all in and risk and tear that the terror barrier that is really holding you back. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just thought before we call it off, I just thought to show to our viewers, I'm sure a lot of people may have seen this, so this is your comfort zone, where you feel safe and in control. Sometimes that comfort zone may be it doesn't necessarily have to be that comfortable though, because there's some people that may be doing 2 jobs or 3 jobs or working extra hours, in order for them to be able to pay their bills, but are in
Mhm.
this comfort zone because that's what they know to do to be able to pay their bills. So even if they have to do it for the first year, second year, third year, as long as it's paying their bills, they just remain in it. And unfortunately, they're not thinking that, okay, if I continue like this and I just being able to cater to my bills, what will happen in another 5, 6, 7 years time? Where your strength or your health may not be the same again.
Yeah.
But if you think about that early enough, then you start having goals towards growth. And for you to have that growth, looking at this chart, looking for you to have that growth, look at what the growth is. The growth is at the extreme. That growth cannot come without you conquering this fear zone and the learning zone.
Mm-hmm.
So your comfort zone is where you feel safe, but then you have to step into that fear zone, where you probably, like, which is what a lot of people are considering most of the time, and that's what shield them from where they want to go. Where you consider what other people are saying, you are affected by other people's opinion, and those people, they really don't pay your bills, but you're affected by them, or you find excuses, or maybe you just feel like you lack confidence. Like I felt I couldn't stay in front of the camera, I couldn't be online. But look at me today. Every Monday I do this, and there are times in a week I do 3 times of this, and then from there, when you make up your mind that you really want to grow and you conquer your fear, that's when you get to this learning zones, when you begin to deal with those challenges, the things that
Mm-hmm.
you learn for your growth, and all of that. Sometimes, for us, it may be to learn to do your adverts, to learn to speak to people, to learn to do some certain things in order for you to be able to, and acquire new skills. Because most of the time, right, conquering your comfort zone, coming out of your comfort zone means that you are stepping into something new, something you have not experienced before. So there may be so there probably will be lots of learning to do and all of that. So you may need to acquire new skills, and are you ready for that? Those are the things that you need to make up your mind, that you're going to be doing. And by the time you have finished learning and all that, then you move to your growth zone. It's at the growth zone, right, where you begin to find your purpose, where you begin to really see the result of those goals that you set and begin to live the life. And you don't just get to the growth zone and then you stay there. Because when you get there, you want to set new goals for more growth. And it continues
Mm-hmm.
that way. So there may be people that may be watching us that are scared, or they're just thinking, this is risky. Some people don't even just tell you that it's risky. Some people just tell you that it's a scam. So that's the excuse that some people give themselves, right? Not to ever do anything. You understand what I'm saying? But some people say, okay, maybe it's not a scam, but like, what if it doesn't work for me? So they've not tried it. But then the question is, what if it works for you? What if you're
Mm-hmm.
what if you're that person looking for an additional $500 or £500, or looking for additional $1,000 or £1,000, and then eventually begins to rake in 5 figures monthly in addition to your work? What if you're that person?
Yeah.
So my advice today is just to come out of that comfort zone. It's time to claim new territories. Claim new territories and see um, what's going to work out for you. And if it does not work out, I mean, like, there's no somebody has not failed. There could be failure. I mean, one may not achieve his or her goal, but you have not failed until when you quit trying. Because in every failure there's an experience gathered. There's a lesson to learn. So how do you see yourself? Do you see failure, or do you see an opportunity? Those are the things that you have to ask yourself. And
Right. Right.
well, having said all of that, I think that's where we're going to stop today. But we just want to remind you that, hey, don't sit in the comfort zone. Start conquering your fear, start learning, start acquiring new skills to get better. And even when you get better, don't remain there. Look for other means to even go even much better. So we stop here today, and we just want to say a big thank you to all of you. Those of you that are going to be watching replay, kindly let us know where you're watching from. Thank you, and have a good day. God bless you. Bye for now.
Bye, guys. Thank you.